Okay, good evening once again, and welcome back to our channel. We met last, I think, about 2 months ago on the topic, the loss of money. And today, we shall be looking at the language of money with the money man as our guest, Mr. Innocent. So he will be telling us what the language of money is all about. So, sorry, by the way, my name is Akari Adam. I'll be your host tonight. Um, Feel free to ask your questions. Feel free to comment where you are joining us from, the country you are joining us from, and also as time goes on, feel free to drop your questions. And yeah, don't forget to come with your pen and paper, rather a book. All right. Um, so while we await our guest, do me a favor. Just tell me where you're watching us from. If you're online, if you're with us, tell me where you're joining us from. While we await our guest, let me quickly tell us what Finance Wise is all about. Um, Finance Wise is a platform set up to help the Nigerian youths, not just Nigerian, the whole of African youths, to better manage their finances. It's not all about what you have, but how well do you manage the little one you have. And that is what we'll be looking at. That is what Finance Wise is all about. Um, so do well to, yeah. So I think our guest is up. Uh, sorry, give me a couple of minutes to add him.
So,
All right, the money man himself is online. Can you hear me, sir?
alright, Mr. Edom.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
He's been me,
Yeah, nice having you on
Mr.
our channel. Welcome
Edom.
to
How are you
it's nice
doing
having you.
today?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, you're highly welcome, sir. Um, yeah. So before your arrival, I was kind of telling them what we stand for here at Finance Wise, and also asking them to come along with their pen and paper to jot some things down because I'm here with my pen and my paper, my book as well to write whole lot of things. So this is like a lesson, and yeah, he'll be teaching us what is language of money. What is it all about? Does money has a language? You know. So many questions will be popping up on our brain, right from the day we saw the advert. I was asking myself too, what is this? What is language of money? What is it all about? Does money has a language? So I was asking so many questions. So I strongly believe that the guests will do justice to this topic, and by the end of the session, surely
Okay,
we'll understand what the language of money is all about. Know if money really has a language. Yeah, the money man. Yeah, it seems we are having a little of a bit of network challenge.
I, I, I think my network has created that actually the weather is as though it's going to rain. It has drizzled here, so I guess that might affect
Oh, oh, wow. So, yeah, sorry for that. He's actually having network issues from his end. The weather there is not so clear. Um, we hope as we progresses, everything will be okay. We don't know, but please kindly bear with us, and we hope everything resolves soon. Kindly bear with us. So, the money man is
but you can
is
hear
a
and see me
president.
clearly now, right?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So can I use
Yeah.
music introduction? I miss that. So can I continue? Can I go ahead?
Yes, yes, sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Pardon?
Let me, yeah, let me allow you to go
Oh,
ahead. But sorry, give me a minute. Give me a minute before you kickstart. Give me a minute. Let me introduce you properly to our audience so that they'll know
all
the
right.
kind of, yeah, they'll know the kind of lesson they'll be receiving tonight. Yeah. So the money man, Mr. Innocent, is an online guru, business guru, is a cryptocurrency expert, an investment expert, is a teacher, is a tutor, he is a trainer. So, in fact, you should be expecting a whole lot from him tonight. Uh, you will gain a whole lot from his wealth of experience. That is why I'm asking you people to come with your pen and book. I'm also with mine here to jot down a whole lot of things. So, it's not just someone who started this morning. So he has been in the system, he knows what's up. So we are going to learn a whole lot from him. So let me allow him to take over the floor. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So good evening, everyone. Once again, I consider myself honored being in your platform, finance-wise, and he's been totally amazing. He's been fantastic, and on that platform, I want to say, keep it up. Continue, keep up the good work. So,
Thank you.
when people ask me of the language of money, if money has a language, I can't see you, but I don't know. Can you guys still see and hear at some points? Can you guys still see me and hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
can see you now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, great, fantastic. So let me continue. All right. So I've had folks come ask me, Money Man, does money have a language? And so one thing, I actually have a program for this. I actually have a program for this. So the first question I asked them is this. Um, if I were to come to you and all you understand is English, but all I know how to speak or Spanish, and I start to converse with would you understand what I was trying to? Do you understand what I'm trying to pass across to you? What's happening?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
What was the last thing you heard, please? I think I was off for like 1 minute.
Yeah, you're saying if folks come to you asking you does if money really has a language.
Okay, yes. Truly, some folks, a mentee of mine, it was on a Sunday evening. I just got back from church, and he called me over the phone, and I picked I answered the call. Do I his words, sir? Do you really think more language? It's like, whoa. Okay. So I asked him what, and then I tried to convert. Difficult for me to understand what he's trying to say. I told him that the only you can hear and understand what I'm trying to say is because I'm speaking. Even if you try, even if you word and family, I think the next thing he will say is
Yeah, the
that
network
thing.
is it's not cooperating at all.
I don't know how.
Okay, we sincerely apologize. The network is not helping matters. I think we will start over again. Um, please kindly bear with us, please. I'll end this now. Okay, okay, it's back. Okay, it's back. I can see you now.
Okay. I'm coming. Disable one of my SIM cards so that the SIM card I get calls from, so that I do not get a call that would interrupt this. Now, are we?
Okay. Yeah, so if you are following this conversation, it's actually trying to tell us um, a kind of personal experience he had with a mentee, how his mentee came to ask him if money has a language, and he was kind of telling the mentee that if you don't understand Spanish, um, you come to me and I'm speaking Spanish, how will you understand what I'm trying to say? I think if I get that right, sorry, the network is not cooperating. At some point, we are not getting everything he's saying, but he's trying to give us a life experience, and which is the best way to teach. And I'm enjoying it so far. In fact, for this shows that he's not telling us from his head, right? He's telling us from experience. It's something he has faced. It's something that he has gone through, and it's something that he has identified probably the problems and the solutions. And these are the things he'll be telling us tonight. So it's not just a head knowledge, right? That is why I said this guy is full of so many things, and we are lucky to have him here tonight. So hence, I'm asking you to come with your pen and paper so that you'll be jotting down what you'll be sharing with us tonight. Yeah, are you with us now? Okay. Sorry, we sincerely apologize. Um, the network is still not cooperating with us. So now, if we look at the invite, or rather the notes attached to this live session, um, we made mention of something that apart from your mother's tongue, um, there is one language that you must understand. There is one language that um, you must understand, and that is what the speaker is trying to let us know. That if you don't understand the language of money, then how can you interact? How can you transact? How can you use it? If you don't understand my language, for example, I'm a Yoruba man or Igbo man or Hausa man, and you don't understand my own language, how do I interact with you? In fact, a large extent, it goes to doing business in terms of business. If you don't understand my language, how can I do business with you? How how can I communicate with you? How can I relate with you? In fact, to a large extent, we understand that most of the conflict we are faced with today in the society are caused as a result of um, misunderstanding of our individual languages. Most of the times, this conflict can be averted, but because we misunderstood one another, um, hence the reason why it leads to crisis or conflicts. And if you look at it from money perspective, a whole lot of people are having financial crisis today, not just because they don't have the money, okay, not just don't have the money, they may have the money, quite okay, but they don't understand the language of money. They don't understand what is the language, and they don't know how to interact with um, money itself. So for you to be able to interact with money, use it properly, you must understand its language. And now, when we're talking of language of money, it also has its components. The speaker is going to talk much. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to keep us busy as he's trying to resolve his network over there, and we hope he join us soon. So kindly bear with us at the moment. Please, we sincerely apologize for this. Is the network? Um, the network from his end is not just cooperating with us this evening. So kindly bear with us. Um, Kindly bear with us, please. Bear with us. Bear with us. Um, So now, when we are talking of when we're talking about language of money, it's something that it can be learned, just like learning how to speak your language, or learning how to speak Spanish, or learning how to speak French, for example. Right? It's something that can be learned, and if you are a young man, this is the best time for you to learn this language. And failure to learn this language at your youthful age, it will definitely affect you um, when you are old, right? And so at that point in time, you'll just be regretting for some certain decision you've taken, or you some indecision you refuse to make. You understand? So whole lot of things. So it's better you understand, or rather, it's better you learn this language now, so that when you get to that level, that stage of your life, you won't be finding things difficult again. You won't be struggling to get things done as regards to um, your finances, right? And that is why Finance Wise is here. That is why we are here to help the youth, to make them understand what money is all about, how to manage their money, how to when we're talking of money, it has to do with budgeting, investing, borrowing, savings, and what have you as regards money. So these are the things that we financial stand for, to train you, to teach you, to educate you on, right? So if you've been following this platform for a quite if you've been following us, you'll notice what we've been sharing. Sorry, um, it seems he's back. Okay, he's back now. He's back online. Thank you. We can see you now, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Please, I beg your pardon for this. Please pardon me. Okay. I don't know what happened. The network here, like I earlier said, it's because. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I can
sorry
hear you.
about that, please. Like I earlier mentioned, it's because of, it's as though it's rained earlier. It's rained earlier, so okay. So Sir Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, sir. Loud and clear. I can see you as well.
Okay, so I was sharing a story of a mentee of mine, right?
Exactly.
Then, you see, personally, I studied physics back in school as an undergraduate,
Wow.
right? So, there are certain terms that I, as a physicist, would use to converse with a fellow physicist when we meet. And there are certain terms those in the accounting field would use to converse with co-accountant, co-accountants, right? This tells you that these individual fields have got their individual languages that are peculiar to them. So also too, money has a language, but sadly, not many people have understood this. So people go about trying to make money. Everyone wants to be rich. Everyone wants to be rich. But you see, when you don't understand the language that something speaks, when you don't, if you are coming to me now, you want to relate with me, you want to relate with the money man, and you come to me and you are speaking Spanish, and I do not understand Spanish, it would be very difficult for you and I to relate. It would be very difficult for you and I to come to an agreement. It would be very difficult for you and I to do business. And one thing I want you to know from today is that your life is your business and your business is your life, right? Your
Wow.
life is your business and your business is your life. So when you go about trying to make money and you do not understand the language of money, Sama, you're making a very big mistake, a very, very big mistake. So what you want to do is to sit down and understand the language of money. The reason why you can hear me, you can understand the message I'm trying to pass across now is because I'm using English. If I switch over to Hausa now, or Yoruba, or Igbo, and if you do not understand any of these three languages I have just listed out, it would be very difficult for you to understand what I'm trying to say. So, as important as money is, and you go about trying to make money so that you'll be able to live a comfortable life here on earth, and you do not understand the language of money, Sama, I'm telling you, it will be very difficult for you. I've just given you analogies, I've given you instances. It would be very difficult for you. So you are trying to court a lady, and you've not studied her well, you've not understood how best to go about communicating with her. If you go to meet her, sir, you would fail in that journey. It's not something you start praying about, right? Even if you try to communicate with God, Sir Edom, I do not know if did we open this with an opening prayer?
Oh, my pardon. I'm sorry for that. Not really.
Okay, okay. So if you do not, so everything in life is spiritual. Life is spiritual, so it's always good we connect to God. So if you go to converse with God, and you are doing things in the way that you shouldn't do before God, then you're not going to get what you're asking Him of. So, Sama, you need to understand the language of money. And the first thing in trying to understand the language of money is you need to know what money is. You need to know what money really is. And for you to know what money is, you need to go back. You need to go back to how this money of a thing actually started, right? You need to go back to how this money of a thing actually started. So tonight I'll be giving us some very vital points as to how money started, how money evolved. So we might say the evolution of money. So if you're writing, you might want to write down the evolution of money. So good, good. So in doing this, we're going to be doing this simultaneously with the evolution of man, because it is how we have evolved, that money has evolved as well. Okay. And so I would give us a definition of money that I would love you to take home and work with for the rest of your life. Because if you go about trying to get something and you don't understand what that is, you won't be able to get it. So, in order to do this, I want you to know that some of us studied biology, right? Some of us studied biology back in school, and in doing this, we probably looked at how man has evolved, right? And that is what we'll be doing. We'll be doing this with 5 different points. 5 different points. We'll look at the evolution of man and the evolution of money. So we'll do this simultaneously, right? And we're going to do this in 5 different points, or in 5 steps. So the first we're going to look at the hunters or the gatherers age. So at this point in time, man was a hunter, right? So we were hunting for food. We were hunting for our daily bread. So what this means is, if I had taken $5 billion and given to a hunter and said, he there were no shopping malls, no clothing, he wouldn't spend the money on anything. So if you had given the money to him at that point, it would have been useless to him. And one thing I want you to know about money is that money is very different from currency. Please write this down. Money is very different from currency, because many people go about trying to get currency instead of money, right? While currency is um limited within a particular jurisdiction, money is universal. So you can simply say that currency is limited within a particular jurisdiction, but money is universal. So you can spend 15 naira here in Nigeria, but when you go to, say, the United States of America, and you take 15 naira into a shopping mall, you won't be able to make use of it. You won't be able to make use of it. The attendant there might even ask you, what is this? Right? Because that is not what they call currency in their jurisdiction. But if you have money, and I'll be giving us a definition of money. If you have that, if you understand money in that light, then anywhere you go, you'll be able to make money if you understand money in that light. But let's go back to this. So we are talking about, excuse me, we are talking about the gatherer slash the hunter's age. So at this point, the money they needed then was their skill and energy. These were what they needed, their skill and energy. They needed these two for them to be able to hunt for food, animals, and eat, right? If you had given him $1 million, it would have been worthless to him at that point. So these hunters continued, right? They continued, and they noticed that they could plant crops and those crops would grow. So that ushered us into the agrarian age. So we started planting. So I would plant tubers of yams. Saeda would plant, you know, a huge plot of beans, and we would harvest our crops, and then things started evolving. Things started evolving. But we got to a point where I needed Sir Adam's beans and he needed my yam, right? And so this, would exchange, he would give me what he had and I would give him what I had. But the problem with this, the problem with this is it was difficult. It was difficult finding someone who had what I wanted, and who wanted what I had,
Hmm.
right? The thing with the agrarian age was, excuse me, so people started planting crops, people were planting crops. So the males knew that for me to have lots of, say, for let's take my, for instance, if I needed more tubers of yam, I needed to have so many wives, and these women would, give birth to lots of kids. and these kids would in turn farm on my plots of land, right? So that is why, we started having, this is one of the reasons why we had men marrying so many wives. So it's polygamy, right? One of the reasons, but it's sad that people still live with that mentality today, where you see a man marrying several wives, right? It was as a result of the fact that a man needed so many hands working on his, excuse me, a man needed so many hands working on his farmland, excuse me, at a particular point in time. And that is why a man would marry so many wives so that she can give birth to lots of kids. And also, this increased the this fueled slavery as well, right? So these barons, these kings, the men, those in the kingdom as well, they needed individuals that would work on their farmland so that they will have lots of crops. Okay. But then I would have so many beans or so many mangoes, so many pineapples, and I needed something else. So say I had tubers of yams in my barn, and Sir Edom had, you know, lots, say thousands of bags of beans, thousands of lots of bags of beans that he has stored. But he needs beans. He wants to eat carbohydrate instead of always eating protein. Or he has beans and I had yam, pardon me. So I need to eat protein and he wanted to eat carbohydrates, right? So we would now exchange. So he would give me, say, some bags of his beans, and I would give him some tubers of my yam. But it was difficult for us to, keep track of the value being exchanged. And as we were doing this, we ventured into trade by barter, right? So for us to exchange our goods, that led us into trade by barter. That is the third point. So we've looked at the hunter slash gatherers age. We've looked at the agrarian age, where we started, we got to the point where we understood that we could farm, and we started farming and producing crops. But I was having just yams, and eating yam morning, afternoon, and night would be very tiresome. It wouldn't be enjoyable. And Sir Edom had beans. Excuse me, let me do something. Yeah, I was having notifications disturbing me, so I had to put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, so Sir Edom, so yeah, okay. Let me gather my thoughts back. Was talking about, yeah, him having
Yams,
beans.
your beans, yeah.
Yeah, you're having beans and I was having tubers of yam. Yes. And for us to exchange, so it was difficult for us to really find a level playing ground, to actually, for us to understand that the tubers of yam I was giving him was equal in value to the quantity of beans he was going to give me. And it was also difficult for me to store my tubers of yam for a long period of time. So two problems. I'm going to list out the problems now that, led to us leaving the trade by barter. Because one thing with humans is we are always looking for a better way to do something. We're always looking for a better way to do something. So it was difficult for us to find a level playing ground to measure the beans he was going to give me to the yams I was going to give him. And it was also difficult for me to, find someone who needed what I had and who had what I wanted. It was difficult. And there was the problem of storage. How long am I going to store my mangoes? How long am I going to store my tubers of yam until I find Sir Edom who had what I wanted, say beans or maize? And it was also difficult for me to carry this my farm products from one place to another, looking for Sir Edom. So there were, you know, the problem of value, the problem of exchange of, it was difficult for us to know that the value I was giving Sir Edom was equivalent to the value he was giving me. It was difficult for me to find someone who had what I wanted and who needed what I had. We had the problem of storage, we had the problem of transportation, right? So this led us to industrialization. So when we got to the point of industrialization, we I could turn my mangoes into mango juice. I could turn my orange into orange juice, right? So the problem of storage was solved at this point, right? Also, I could turn my yams into this. We have this poundo now that you can just take up and you can easily prepare pounded yam,
Exactly.
right? We could turn tomatoes into tomato paste. So today we have Gino, we have Testitome. So these were the industrial age helped us to solve some of the problems of storage problems, but we still needed a way to measure the value we would exchange, right? And so this was where the people would call gold merchants came in, right? So in this industrial age, we started using precious metals to exchange goods and services, right? So we had precious metals that we were using, and then, but most importantly, we had gold, right? We had gold. But come to think of it, as a merchant who is traveling from, say, Abuja to Lagos to purchase some goods, and I would carry my gold. It was, the problem of theft, the problem of carrying a very weighty, let me not say a ounce of gold, but gold, we know gold is measured in ounce, but let's just use quantity here. So it was difficult carrying a certain or carrying the total quantity of gold I have and moving it from Abuja to Lagos for me to do business. And so because of that, we had individuals called gold merchants. So these guys were stationed at different points in the world as at that time, right? So we call them gold keepers. Pardon me, I think I had said gold merchants. We call them gold keepers. So I, as a merchant, if I wanted to go buy something, I would go to a particular gold keeper within my vicinity, and I'll tell him that, hey, I have this quantity of gold. So when I give him this gold, what he would do, he would take a piece and he would write on that piece that Mr. Mr. Innocent has so ounce of gold in my possession. So you can do business with him that is equivalent to this amount of gold. So what I'll do, I will take that note. They called it at that time promissory note. So I'll take the promissory note, excuse me, as a merchant from that goalkeeper, and I'll travel to Lagos. So when I go to Lagos, I'll tender my promissory note to the excuse me, to the merchant there who is willing to do business or who is trying to sell, say, the I don't want to say tomato paste. The poundo, is it poundo they call it? No, let me not
Pounded.
use poundo. Saidam, what else can I use? Give me
Yeah,
something I can use.
banana.
Aha. So yes, okay, we can use Five Alive because Five
Five.
Alive contains all these fruits. So let's say I'm a wholesaler in Five Alive, and I've excuse me, as a merchant, I've collected the promissory note from a gold keeper in Abuja, and I'm going to Lagos. Right. So when I get to Lagos, I would give them this promissory note, and they would give me Five Alive that is equivalent to what that promissory notes can purchase, right? And that is how this continued. And over time, these goalkeepers come together and they kept this gold somewhere. And so we call that place the Federal Reserve. So you may have heard of the Federal Reserve in the United States. So as at this point, so what happened was this. Taedom, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great, great, great. So what
Treasury
happened was
card.
this. So they sat down and they decided that we would keep all this gold and we would issue paper money, right? We would issue money, we would issue dollars. So what happened was this: the dollar was pegged to the gold, and every other currency of the world was pegged to the dollar, right? So the dollar had its reference point to be gold, and every other currency of the world had the dollar. Every other currency of the world were pegged to the dollar. I can tell you this because even up to now, this still happens. So I import stuff from China, and even when you want to do business with the Chinese, they would give you quotations in dollars. Although the Chinese use yuan or what they call RMB, right? But when you want to import stuff, they still give you quotations in dollars. And even when you want to pay for shipping, I saw a vendor on her WhatsApp status earlier this evening before we came for this live show. She was complaining about the price of dollar because, of course, you know that naira keeps going down against the dollar, and that is why I tell people don't save money, right? Once you start saving money as a contemporary Nigerian, is a sure sign that you are not financially intelligent. I will tell you this, right? Because I want you to understand the language of money and the intricacies and how to go about playing the money game rightly. Right? So let's go back to the evolution of money. Okay. So what happened was this. So when they pegged this dollar, when they pegged dollar to the gold standard, there was an equivalent amount of gold for every dollar you see in circulation. Yes, as at that time, there was an equivalent amount of gold for every dollar for every dollar that was in circulation. But something happened in August 1971. On the 15th of August 1971, President Nixon, President Richard Nixon removed the dollar from the gold standard. Immediately he did this, oh, they could print money, right? So formally, every dollar in circulation had an equivalent amount of gold stored in the Federal Reserve. But once the government started printing money, once the government removed dollar from the gold standard, they had the ability to print money, right? So as they started printing money, this ensured that the money in circulation started losing value. I don't know if you've heard this, but just last year alone, the Fed's print its statistics shows that 22% of the total dollar in circulation was printed just last year. And I was conversing with a friend of mine, and according to him, he said the one governor in Nigeria said that they've been printing money in this country every single month, every single month. And if you really want to understand this, not many people really understand this, but if you want to understand this, you will understand that the value of money is what money can buy for you per time, right? This is how I want you to start seeing money. So you go save 10,000 naira in the bank, and it's still reading 10,000 naira, but it's no longer 10,000 naira. And I want us to take a commodity to do this. So earlier this year, I don't know how much a sachet of tomato is being. Sir Adam, do you cook?
Yeah, sure.
So how much do you buy a sachet of tomato now in
Ah,
your
it's been long. I buy tomato.
okay.
I don't
Okay,
I
so
don't. It's so expensive. So I don't cook stew.
okay. All right, I can understand that. So see, earlier this year, as at January, February, a sachet of tomato was sold at the rate of 50 naira per sachet. So let's take Gino for instance. So Gino tomato was sold for 50 naira per sachet. But now, in fact, it was it was last week. I went to buy a sachet of tomato, and the man told me 120 naira, and I exclaimed. So what this means is, if if 100 naira could buy you if 100 naira could buy you two sachets of tomato in January,
Hmm.
100 naira cannot buy for you a sachet of tomato now. But some persons would go and save. So let's
That
just keep using
money.
100 naira. So some persons would still go and save 100 naira in the bank,
Mm,
for
yeah.
instance. So 100 naira could buy you two sachets of tomato as at January, but that 100 naira can't buy you one sachet of tomato now.
At all.
Can you see to what extent our money is losing value, right?
Mm,
And so just while experimenting on these, I went to one of the banks. Okay, let me just say the bank. I went to Access Bank, and while I was trying to activate my internet banking for Access Bank, I eavesdropped on the conversation between one of the bank attendants with you know one of the bank customers there just within the bank hall. So the person was telling him that look at, if you want to open it, because in that bank as at then, if you want to open a domiciliary account with them, you needed to have $100. You need to deposit $100. So for you to deposit $100, you needed to buy dollars. Okay, so you would use your naira to buy dollars and then open the account for them to deposit that money in your bank.
yeah.
So he was telling the man that as at last year, this happened in June. This happened around June. So he was telling the man that as at last year, for you to open a domiciliary account with them, you needed 37,000 naira, because as at then 37,000 naira was equivalent to $100. But now you needed as at then also, when I was as at June, then you needed to have 48,000 naira for you to open a domiciliary account. I want you to look at this in just 1 year. If you had saved $100, you would have been in profit of 11,000 naira by just doing nothing. And if you had saved that money in a naira account, you would have lost 11,000 naira as well.
I said 11,000 exactly.
So can you see? So those who don't understand the language of money go about saving money and saving it the wrong way.
Hmm.
So dollar itself, I want you to understand that if dollar itself keeps losing value, and I will tell you what dollar is losing its value against if you stay till the end of this. So remember, we were looking at the evolution of money before I started explaining all of these to you. Now let's go back. Let's go back, because I want to give you a definition or two definitions of money that I believe would help you from now going forward in your dealings with money. Right? So when President Richard Nixon removed dollar from the gold standard, the government had the liberty to print money. So the Feds could print any amount of money. Last year, they injected over $2 trillion from nowhere into the economy. So as soon as whenever the Feds do such a thing, it would, devalue the current money in circulation, because we are having more money coming into the economy, and the value or the services or the goods that money is coming to buy is not increasing, right? So if you're going to, as you know, for you to improve or increase the money you have, you would need to do more business, right? You would need to sell more stuff. But
Sure.
the Feds just inject this money without doing business. Okay, so whenever they do this, it would terribly affect the money in circulation. Okay, so studies have shown that over 22% of the total dollars in circulation was printed just last year alone. Just last year. And as at, say February, March of this year, President Biden was talking about, what do they call this? Stimulus, right? Stimulus funds and all of these. So whenever they do such a thing, they are printing money. They just print money out of thin air. So anyone who is saving money as at that point would greatly lose. So I'll give you another secret. I had told you before in this that savers are losers.
Hmm.
So I'll tell you something else. Debt is good. So let me use the example of that sachet of tomato. So if I was owing somebody 100 naira, right? and I
Yes.
collected 100 naira in February, and I was using, and I could use that 100 naira to buy two sachets of tomato as at then,
Yes.
right? So if you know how to use debt, which is one thing called OPM, other people's money, if you know how to use debt, then I will tell you you are very financially intelligent. Then can tell you that yes, you have a deep understanding of how the language of money works, right? Those who know how to use, and that is where the banks come in, right? That is where the banks come in, because take for instance, see, if you can owe lots of people now, you be a very rich man if you can owe them smartly. Because look at the banks, look at insurance companies. What do? The banks, for instance, keep your money, right? So
Yeah,
banks,
yeah.
they owe lots of people. They owe
Exactly.
so many individuals, but many
Exactly.
persons haven't sat down to really look at this in this light. Okay, the banks owe millions, millions of people everywhere around the world. And that is why the banks are very wealthy. And what they do is they know how to use other people's money, they know how to use OPM. So they come and they hold your money, they use your money to do business, they give your money to those who come for loans, and you are going there to save the money. See, the rich men don't save money,
Sure.
right? They go there, they go to the banks to pick money. Those with ideas don't save money. They go to the banks to pick the money, and they use the money to fund their ideas, right? So it is a poor man that saves money. Ah, yeah, yeah. Many people, I don't know if persons have started getting, the wisdom of what I'm trying to say, but I will tell you that it is the poor man that saves money. A rich men don't save money, right? Rich men, they invest their money, and even when they save, they don't save like the contemporary Nigerian. I can bet you, because I've used this particular sachet of tomato to really give you an example, and I hope it really works for those of you seeing this video or those that would see this broadcast later,
Mm.
right? Because once you save, I can tell you're not financially intelligent. If I had, okay, let me use this. If I had borrowed 100 naira then in January or February, I could buy two sachets of tomato, and I would sell. If I borrowed 100 naira, I would buy two sachets of tomato. If I was to consume it, I would consume more, right? If I was to sell, I had more products that I was going to sell. And so if I had if I had borrowed, if I come to pay the person now that I had borrowed 100 naira from, then that person won't even be able to buy a sachet of tomato at all. Can you see?
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
borrowed 100 naira as at then, and I could use it to buy two sachets of tomato. If I come to pay that person now, that 100 naira I collected from him, if he won't even be able to buy a sachet of tomato.
It's such
So you see, he has lost. He has he has lost. So if you borrow money as a debtor, so you are winning. But that is if you know how to use money rightly. So when I hear that the Nigerian government keeps borrowing money, I wish that but by the way, you have to understand that we've got good debts and bad debts. Very important I say this. We have good debts and bad debts. Very,
bad.
very vital. So don't go about saying, oh, because the money man said debt is good, you go and borrow money and you're using it to flex. You're using it to buy clothes. You're using
Mm.
it to do what our government is doing. I wish our government understand how debt really works, right? For the fact that we keep borrowing money from, say, the Chinese and all of these, if they were using it to invest in assets. So a good debt is a debt you use to, fund an asset, but a bad debt is a debt you use to fund a liability. So what is a liability and what is an asset? An asset is something that brings money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It's as simple as that. So say I collected 100 naira from Sir Edom, and I used that to buy two sachets of tomato, and I sold it, right? And it brought him more money for me.
Mm.
Of course, I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to sell it at the rate at which I bought it. Okay. So I'll
Yeah.
sell it for profit, and then I take back the 100 naira he's giving me. I take it out and I go to return it back to him. Right. So I've been able to use that. I've been able to use Sir Edom's money, and Sir Edom would lose in this business because I collected 100 naira from him and I'm going back to give him the same 100 naira. And by the time I'm giving him that 100 naira, that 100 naira must have reduced in value.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, because every currency of, see, it is said that the dollar and the euro lose at least 12% of its currency every year. At least 12% of its currency every year. But every other currency of the world, excuse me, like Naira, loses its currency faster. So if say the dollar loses say 12% of its currency every year, we can even say that Naira loses say 15% every year. And that means more than 1% every year. I don't know if you guys are getting this. Let me come
Yeah.
again. It is said that every currency of the dollar and the euro lose more than 12% of its currency every year, at least 12% of its currency every year. This starting from last year when the Feds, because what happened, even the banks today, when you go save money in the bank, they do not give you any interest for saving. Rather, they take from the money you've gone to save.
Oh yes. Maintenance. They call it
So they
maintenance.
they
Bank
they
charges.
even charge you exorbitantly for coming to save money.
Oh, exactly.
But excuse me, excuse me. So formerly, interest rate was 7%. Interest rate was 7%, and these currencies of the world were losing. Now I'm talking about dollars. Dollar was losing at least 7% of its value. So the interest rate was, um, was always stabilizing the rate at which dollar was going down. So it's people were not really
Really?
taking notes. People were not taking notes. But now it is going down at a very rapid rate, and every other currency of the world is speedily declining in tandem with the dollar. Because remember I said the dollar was pegged to the gold and every other currency of the world was pegged to the dollar, right? So the dollar was seen as a reference point and it's still being seen as a reference point, because most often, even if you want to book a flight, they will give you the quotation of that flight in dollars. Right? They wouldn't tell you in local currencies, or they will give you the quotation of that flight in dollars. So that if you want to pay in dollars, you would pay at the present exchange rate, right?
Exchange.
That is to tell you how powerful the dollar is. Yes. But so let me go back to these. Lots of points I keep, and I have to do this for you guys to really understand. So we stopped at the industrial age. So this gold merchant started issuing promissory
Yeah.
note, and that is where we started having paper money. Okay, but you would also agree with me that this paper money is beginning to, I don't want to say go into extinction, but we are beginning to use less of it. Take for instance, I'm in my room now. I can converse with you. You can see me. We can interact. So also I can pay you for your services or for your products online without having to use cash, without having to use paper money. So we are beginning to that has led us into the information and technological age. Right? We are beginning to we're now in the information and technological age where you can pay for goods and services without even seeing the person, without coming, without the person touching the money and without you touching the money as well. So e-commerce is now changing the 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 style of business such that I can buy courses, I can buy programs online without having to use money, without having to pay via paper money. I can just input my card details. So you see that we're now going cashless,
Sure.
right? We are going cashless. And one thing I want you to understand also is that formerly, it was Michael Saylor who wrote a book, and he explained to us that we are beginning to see the dematerialization of materials. So formerly, a library would A library contains, thousands of books, but today my mobile phone can contain the same quantity of books.
Even
So
more.
even more. So a library, I can carry a whole library in my phone.
Sure.
That's to tell you that we're beginning to see the dematerialization of materials. So this is happening. Formerly, you need to buy, you need to have CDs. You need to use this. You need to use this. You need to have CDs for you to, listen to songs, play videos. But now, even in my phone, I can have lots of videos here.
Sure.
I can sit in my room and I can download so many music, so many videos. So we are beginning to see the dematerialization. Materials are beginning to reduce their size. Okay, and money is doing the same. We're beginning to see the same happen to money. Money is going digital, right? And that is where cryptocurrency comes in.
Hmm.
So we are beginning to move. I've taken you through a journey. We went from the gatherers slash hunters age to the agrarian age
At the right age.
to trade by barter, and then to industrial age, to the information and technological age. And humans have continued to evolve, and money has been evolving alongside us,
Hmm.
right? So you need this, as this would help you, right? Gaining an understanding of this will help you clearly understand the language of money and to help you see what money is per time, right? So if you had given $1 million to a hunter as at then, it would have been worthless to him. If you had given it to to someone in the agrarian age, it would have been worthless to him. In the trade by barter as well, it would have been, it wasn't feasible at that time.
All right. Sorry to
So
come in here. Yeah, sorry, sir, to come in here. We're also looking at our time. Um, yeah, we're
yes,
looking at
yes.
our
So
time. Yes, yes. So,
I think we've
uh,
we've, we've, we've talking we've discussed so much here, and I hope you guys were able to pace with me because I had to bring in lots of issues so that we would clearly understand. And I pardon me for not asking how many hours I have, because when it comes to talking about money, I seem not to exhaust the information I have.
yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, you are pardon to continue because of the hitch we have at first. At the beginning, we are having some issues.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are free.
Yes, 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 yes. So how many minutes so that I can start to round up, please? How many
Yeah,
minutes do I
so
have?
30 more minutes.
Okay, okay, good. So with this, I want to give us two definitions of money now. We've talked about, and I want to also explain this. You know, who recognizes this? I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this?
Yes, we can.
What is this?
That is a check paper, checkbook.
Okay,
A
let me
checklist.
bring it closer. Let me bring it closer to the. Let me take
Oh,
this
that is
light.
money.
What money is this?
More or less in the currency. Is that
What
pounds?
currency is this exactly?
More or less in.
Um, I'm trying to adjust this light so that it doesn't. I'm trying. How can I make you see this more clearly now? Oh,
Not
I
seeing
honestly
anything.
want you to see this. How about now?
Hmm. Seeing it from afar. Did I know this currency? Is it pounds?
Okay, 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 okay. Let me do this. How about this one?
I'm seeing 50.
You're saying 50.
Yes, yeah, it's not clear at all.
How do I adjust this light? Ah, God. Okay, so I guess this. How about now?
Is that Nigeria currency?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that is 15 naira, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
That's
What's
15
this
naira.
as well?
Yeah, 15 naira too.
So
Yes.
this on my left hand is the old 50 naira, right? The 50 naira we were using until our government, excuse me, decided that this is no longer acceptable as a legal tender, right?
Yeah.
So while the government and then we changed to this, right? We started using polymer, we changed to this. So these are both 50 naira Nigerian currencies. But if you take this out now, this is, I can't spend this, but I can spend this, right? So the government, the government of any country can wake up and say, we do not want to use this currency anymore. Just like they said when we were using this. So your job is not to go after currency. Your job is to go after money.
Money.
Your job is to go after money. And now I'll be giving us two definitions that would help us understand money and how to go about it. So the first is that money is an exchange, is a medium through which value is exchanged. So if you want to make more money, if you want to make more money, exchange more value, give out more value. The second definition I will give us here is that money is a reward for solving problems. Money is a reward for solving problems. So if you want more money, solve more problems. So many the problem with people is that people continue analyzing problems. People sit down and they analyze problems. You need to start solving problems. If you're a person of value, you can take yourself to the United States and you start making money. If you're a person of value, you take yourself to Japan and you're making money because you exchange value, you give out value and you be giving money. But if all you are after is currency, Sama, you would have a great problem. I hope with these two definitions, I've been able to help you understand clearly what money is. One, money is a reward for solving problems. You want to make lots of money, solve lots of problems. Two, money is a medium through which value is exchanged. So exchange value, give out value, but for you to become valuable, you must have taken in lots of value. You cannot give what you don't have. Okay, you can't give what you don't have. So we've seen countries of the world legalize cryptocurrency, guys. Cryptocurrency is the future of money. Now, I have a book I wrote titled 12 Reasons Why You Need to Learn About Cryptocurrency. That book is sold for 3,500 naira. But if you need the book, tell Sir Edom and he would give you my WhatsApp number and you can reach out to me for the book. I don't know. Sir Edom, are you still here? Is my network, has my network failed me? I can see myself. I don't know, but I cannot see Sir Adam here. What's happening? Can you guys hear me? Hello? I'm trying to send him a message.
Right. So we sincerely apologize for what just happened.
All right, so I guess I'm back.
Yeah,
Saidam, can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. I can
I
hear
don't know
you.
what
So sorry
happened.
for that. Yeah, we are so sorry for that.
Please pardon us. So yes, I was telling them I was talking about cryptocurrency being legalized in different countries. We've seen El Salvador, excuse me, Salvador recently made Bitcoin a legal tender. So Bitcoin is now generally accepted in El Salvador. Seen lots of currency, lots of things are happening in the crypto space. And if you need someone to put you through, do reach out to me. Okay, I had talked about, so I don't know. Were you still here when I talked about one of my books, the 12 reasons why you need to learn about cryptocurrency? Were you here when I talked about that?
No, 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 no.
Okay, I was saying that if anyone needs that book, anyone listening to this broadcast, either live or as a replay, and you need the book, do well to reach out to him so that you tell me, I would give you the book. Okay.
Sure,
Yeah, that book will help you get started, to help you understand your crypto, to help you see reasons why you need to get started in cryptocurrency. I also have another book which is for sale. It's called Navigate Through Your Cryptocurrency Journey in Three Steps. So the book is sold for 5,000 naira. And if you're interested in the book, you buzz him up and he would reach out to me. So that is it about cryptocurrency. Okay. So I have told you that savings is bad and debt is good. But I had to also tell you that you need to be able to use good debts, and I told you the difference between good debts and bad debts. Okay.
Barrett, yeah.
Also, I also told you that savers are losers, and I've given you, I've used the sachet of tomato. I've helped you see that the value of money is what money can buy for you per time, right? So you have 100K stored in your bank account. Yes, from January to December, it's reading 100K. But I can tell you that what 100K can buy for you in January is not what 100K can buy for you in December. I always want you to know this. The value of money is what money can buy for you or what money can do for you per time, right? See money this way. So, good. Now, I want to show you, I want to tell you, I want to teach you something very vital, very, very vital, right? But I may not tell you all of them here. But so, here, I want to tell you something I call the 7 P's of money. Now, I did a video for, it's a video I sell, but I'll be giving it out to you for free. Everyone here, it's a video I hosted on my YouTube channel. By the way, you can check out my YouTube channel. I've got tons of video there. Innocent Nduaguba, you just check out the YouTube channel. There are lots of videos there about cryptocurrency. Okay, so yeah. Um Yes, I did. There's something I call the 7 P's of money, right? And the first in this is people, right? Remember, I have told you something. I told you that if you want to make lots of money, solve problems, right? You want to make lots of money, solve problems. So the first P in the 7 P's of money is people, right? You want to find your own people, right? You want to find your own people, people whom you are going to do what? You are going to solve their problems using your products. So this is 3 P's now. The first P is people, the second P is problem, and the third P is products. Look for the people you would solve their problems using your products.
Your product.
Yeah. Look for the people you would solve their problems with your products. And by the way, you should have products, right? I believe Finance Wise have got products, and I want to encourage you to check out the products of Finance Wise. Check out the product, check out their programs, check out their master classes, check out their coaching programs, check out their mentorship programs, check out their books, because these things would help you on your personal finance journey. By the way, if you are not doing well in your personal finance, you're not doing well in your personal finance, let me tell you, you would not do well in your corporate finance. You would not do well because see, there are so many currencies. It is not just this currency, right? There are so many currencies. You know, even the relationship is currency, but you need to use money to fund this currency, right? You need to use money because you use money to buy access, right? You're going to buy access to people. You need money for you to become valuable. So I encourage you, check out the products of Finance Wise, check out their mentorship programs, check out their books, check out their videos. You need this product. These products are out to solve your problems. These products are out to solve your problems. So do well to check out their products. Also, I've just told you 3 P's of money. I've told you need to look for your people, and then you will use your product to solve their problems. But there is something your product should have, and 2 P's are under this. One thing you need to understand that human beings are running from human beings are basically, I've sat down to think about this and I have concluded that human beings are just after 2 things in life. After 2 things. Human beings are running away from pain and going towards pleasure. They're running away from pain and going towards pleasure. Running away from pain and going towards pleasure. So your product should be able to take them from their pain to pleasure. Now, finance wise, I've got programs, products that will take you from your pain to pleasure, right? These products will take you from your pains to pleasure, right? And help you enjoy a very pleasurable experience, right? So as humans, we are moving away from pain to pleasure. 5 P's I have told you about now. Excuse me. And then the other 2 P's, you want you you want to look for a platform. You want to get a platform. You want to get a platform where you're solving these people's problems with your products and moving them from pain to pleasure. Moving them from pain to pleasure. You want to find a platform where these people are gathered so that you can use your product to solve their problems and thus move them from pain to pleasure. So 6 P's now. And then the last P is promote the hell out of your products. So finance wise, promote your products. Promote the products of finance wise. Because if you do not promote these products, you won't be able to solve these problems. You need more people to see the products that you need more people to see the products, to see your products so that you can solve their problems. All right. Which is it's very beautiful what you guys are building in the finance wise, and I'm happy to associate with you because of what you are doing across Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, trying to solve the problems of both Nigerian and African youths. You're doing an amazing job, Sir Adam, and I pray that God continues to give you the wisdom to solve the personal finance problems of young Nigerians and Africans and the diaspora, the world in general, because I see finance wise going global. What you are building here is massive, and I pray that God gives you the wisdom, the strength, the energy to continue to move people from pain to pleasure. Thank you and God bless you. So now I'm willing to take questions. Any questions you guys have got? I'm here to answer them
All
to the
right.
best of my knowledge and to the glory of God.
All right. Thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate um, your coming. Thank you for honoring our invite. Honestly,
My
the
pleasure.
lectures are massive. Like, in fact, massive deliveries here, taking us through the history, evolution of money. You know what that means? People, this is what people paid money to be taught in school. I guess those who are finance students will know this. They paid money to be taught all this in school, and you are receiving it here for free. People are paying a whole lot of money, like seriously, to learn all this evolution of money, giving us definition of money, what money actually stands for. Um, I think I don't know. Let me say this now. Let me say this now. We want you to promise
Yeah.
us that you are coming back to
Okay.
this platform again some other time. Probably, yeah. Next time you are coming might not be free. Yes, it might not be free. The audience will have to pay money to to attend the next program that you will be attending.
All right. No, no, that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. These are
This
massive
is
value.
this is to help people gain financial education, financial intelligence, and I'm simply keen into the vision of finance wise. I love what you're doing because it starts with personal finance. We take
Sure,
our personal dil- our, our diligence in our personal finance into our corporate lives, into our relationships, and to the world. Okay, so if we do not get it from um our personal as individuals, then we cannot get it in the corporate society, not to talk about going global. And I want us, everyone on this platform, to start thinking of going global. Think of going. So I want to really apologize. This was supposed to hold yesterday, but I was, I had to. It was important that we honored Daddy Jo, so that the John Obidi was having his birthday hangout yesterday, and man, I attended the hangout, and it was wow. It lasted for 7 hours. You can imagine, for 7 hours, it
wow.
was mind blowing. And one of the things I would share with you that Daddy John Obidi said was, it's time to go global. Personal finance, I want you to start thinking of, finance wise, start thinking of going global. Think of how we can take this platform global. If you are seeing this video live, if you are seeing the broadcast, I want you to start thinking global. Think of how you can take your products and your services global. think of how you can solve the think of how you can solve people's problems with your product, thereby taking them from their pains to pleasure. Think of a global platform, promote globally. And as you do this, God will continue to help us and we'll all go global. Think of going global.
All right. Thank you so much. We have a couple of questions, but I don't think time allow us. Only if you can use 1 or 2 minutes to answer them.
All
Let me
right,
ask.
very
Yeah,
quickly.
let me ask the two questions. Now, what are the consequences of not understanding the language of money? That is one question. The other one
Hmm.
is it too late for someone to learn this language?
Okay, so what are the consequences? So I earlier said here that after God and family, the next thing you should have, the next thing you should really be pursuing as a human is money, truly speaking. The next thing you should be pursuing is money. And um, think about it. Even when you go to God, you need to give God. It was David who said, "I wouldn't give God something that costs me nothing. I won't give God something that costs me nothing." You want to ensure that even when you want to give God something, it should be something that is costly, something that is worth it, something heavy, right? Solomon was sacrificing, Solomon was slaughtering, and God appeared to him in a dream. Ay, ay, ay. And God asked him, "What will I do for you?" So you want to get to the point where you would even give God something of worth, something that would cost you greatly. So let's look at it from that point. If you do not understand the language of money, it is clear that you will not be able to make enough money that would enable you give God something of worth, something that would cost you greatly. That God would even come to you and say, finance wise, What do you want me to do for you people in this platform? That is the aspect of God. In your family, you won't be able to give your kids the best education out there. You won't be able to provide for them. You won't be able to give them the best available services. So these are some of the cons. Even in your personal life, you won't be able to buy the things. You won't see. We are here now. This cost, right? Power. We are using power now. Of course, you know you have to pay for power.
Sure.
I'm using the mobile phone. This mobile phone was bought. I'm using data. Of course, data is not free.
Mm. Sure.
Time itself, time is one asset that we do not have. We all, okay, time is one very limited asset. You can take my money, you can take my clothing, but my time, once you take my time, damn, I won't be able to get my time again. So once you have money, some of the consequences of not understanding money, one, you won't be able to give God something that costs you something of worth. Two, you won't be able to provide for your family properly. Three, you won't be able to even take good care of yourself. You won't be able to buy the things you want to buy. You won't be able to go to the places you want to go to. Right? So you need to understand the language of money. Just like I've said, if say I start or I switch over to speaking Hausa now, kuna gane abin da ina fada yanzu? Ka gane abin da na ce?
Yes, to an
Oi,
extent.
kana jin Hausa kenan?
Yeah, Nigerian House. I understand it too.
Okay. To misali in ba ka jin Hausa ba za ka gane abin da ina fada. To
At all.
if I switch over to Igbo now, for instance, and I say kekime,
Uh,
kekime ta, idokoma kekolo sigata.
I don't understand.
So you see, that is how it works with money. If you do not understand the language of money, you won't be able to carry out your dealings. You won't be able to carry out proper dealings with money. For instance, you won't be able to understand the language, the fact that you need to be able to play the game of debt. You won't be able to play the OPM very well. I remember when I was starting out, even in my importation business, right? I was while serving, I was selling stores across different states in Nigeria. But I can tell you that I wasn't using my money to do that business. I was using other people's money because I understood what OPM is. I was using people's money to run my business, right? All I needed to do was to go meet a seller, get his products, promote it. It still cuts across the 7 P's of money. I had my niche. Now I can take you through the development of a product, right? Because the core, you see, the center of solving a problem is products. If you do not have products, you'll be broke. You need products, right? I have my crypto courses. I have the language of money itself is a product on its own. It's a course. But this is what you're getting for free here because we're out to ensure that people do not suffer or face the consequences of not understanding the language of money.
Wow, massive
Now, it
value.
is not too late. It is not too late for you to start learning the language of money. It is not too late for you to start understanding how to walk through the 7 P's of money. The 7 P's of money, you should know this. You should have this at your fingertips. Ay, 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 ay. You shouldn't lose this. You should have this. You should think this. You should memorize this. People, problems, products, pain, and pleasure. The sixth rather is
Plat-
promote
Platform and promote.
platform, yes, and you need a platform to promote this. So it is not too late. It is not too late to start. It is not too late because even a child, I started learning Hausa at the age of 17 years, right? I had just gotten into school, so I started learning Hausa then, right? So it is not too late. Even a person of 70, it is not too late to start learning any language. See, when programmers, if you're a programmer, you use a programming language to program. In English, we were taught English language. Some persons were taught Igbo language. Some persons were taught Hausa language. It is very important. If I go to Italy today and I cannot speak Italian, I won't be able to come. If I go to Portugal now and I cannot speak Portuguese, if I go to Spain today and I cannot speak Spanish, even when if Ronaldo knows how to speak English, and that is why you see Ronaldo can move he can move across these different leagues because he understands the languages, right? So
Yeah.
Saul
Thank you.
recently signed for Chelsea and he was being interviewed. Sama, he couldn't speak English language.
Yeah.
So if you
Sorry to
cannot
cut
speak
in.
the language of money, it will be difficult for you to interact and converse. You need to speak with money.
Yeah.
So you need to learn the
Sorry
language
to
of
butt
money.
in here. Sorry to butt in here. In fact, I can see the passion. I can see the kind of. In fact, it seems I didn't mean someone is there close to you. I don't understand this. You use cane or something to flog the person with the way you're talking.
This
Ah,
language
that
of money is something I
I
don't
can
know
see the
how, but
passion.
I think it was God
But
who gave me this. This was birthed from my spirit. The language
wow,
of money is something I want to spread to the world and help people understand that truly money has a language. Not many
yeah,
persons understand this.
sure. Thank you so much. We are sorry, time is not our friend, just like you mentioned earlier. Okay, so um we don't have the time, just like you mentioned earlier, right? And sorry, we have to stop here for today. And
Oh yeah,
probably
yeah.
just like you mentioned, there's a course named the language of money. Please, we are going to probably mention, tag him in our post, or rather contact us, then we'll direct you to him, right? So that you get this course from him. In fact, you can see from this session so far, he shared a very great value, something that whole lot of people are paying. In fact, close to a million of naira to learn in school in some areas. They are receiving it here for free. So don't take this for granted. He has a whole lot of courses currently running. He also has a platform. He has a Facebook community that you can join, right? Um, sorry, I can't remember
The
the name
Money
of.
Academy.
Exactly, the money. In fact, the money academy. Exactly. So please do, if you're in Facebook, please, if you are seeing this right now, either if you are seeing this on Facebook, please do yourself a favor, search for that platform, the Money Academy, and join. Great value are being shared there for free. What you are paying money elsewhere to receive, but there they are just sharing value for free. Do endeavor to join that platform. Like I mentioned earlier, has a whole lot of courses. He's an expert in his area. You can see from the way he made the presentation, you know that yeah, he's an expert. If it's someone who is using just head knowledge to teach, you will notice that this person is just using head knowledge. But if someone has experienced it, I can see the pains he passed through. He don't want you to pass through that pain. Hence the reason why he's speaking with passion, so you know how painful it is. Please don't take this for granted. Like I said, if you um taking it for granted, some other time you have to pay money before you gain this kind of um value again. So like you mentioned earlier, yeah, we have a lot of courses. We also have a program we're working on, which will kick off very soon. It's tagged GWF 101. Do endeavor to join us, gain financial wisdom with finance wise, right? It's all about
Awesome.
financial intelligence. So do endeavor to sign up for that course. You can drop a message under this live show, either on Facebook or on our YouTube platform. We'll surely add you to that. We show you how to partake in that training. So then we'll also have a big program coming up by the end of this year, where we'll have
Amazing.
speakers from different parts of Africa countries. So do
Amazing.
endeavor to follow us, right? People will be talking from life experience. People who are top in their sectors will be coming to this platform to talk to us. So we really want the African youth to gain this financial wisdom. From his presentation, you understand that if you understand personal finance very well, going to the corporate world, you won't find it difficult. Look at We are facing a whole lot of things in Nigeria today because we don't understand personal finance, education, hence the reason why we are faced with all these challenges. But if you know personal finance very well, you are financially intelligent. Oh, yes. Um, to a large extent, will overcome this problem we are facing in this country. Hence the reason why financial is out here. We don't want the next generation to face what we are facing at the moment. We
Yeah,
want
truly. And that is why
financial
we are taking time to educate
intelligence.
them.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you honoring this invitation. Like I mentioned earlier, looking forward to see you again on our platform. And for you, our viewers, do endeavor to share this content so that a whole lot of people will see, will learn from this. Thank you so much. Time is not on our side, but do
My
endeavor to follow us
pleasure.
for more content. Thank you so much. God bless you so much. We pray that God will increase you more and more in Jesus'
Amen.
name. Thank you. And we
Amen.
pray that God will give us the grace to implement all that I've learned so far today. Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Amen. In
Yeah.
Jesus' name.
Bye.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Bye
So
bye. Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Yeah.